It's an interesting thought. I think that there's a lot of schools of thought that imply or that indicate that if you take your premium inventory and you put it on an exchange or in an RTB, that you will quickly lose, the value of that inventory will quickly diminish. And I think what I hear you describing is a situation where you can say, no, this inventory is not like the rest of it. This is special. It still has a high value, and I still have to be paid more for it. Is that what you're describing?
Yes, sir. If you're a barley farmer and you have this truckload of barley and you take it to the grain exchange, they're going to give you a bottom basement price. But if you come along and say its protein content is this much, its moisture content is this much, it was organically grown, now you can go and find a brewery that's going to make beer out of it instead of somebody who's going to feed it to cows. I mean, you have to differentiate it.
Yeah, I can say as
I'm thinking about beer now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's later. So, as a buyer, I can say it's true. We see a lot of stuff coming across, and we have no way to know if it's premium or not. And if we did know that premium was there, we would market it differently and sell it differently and make it appear different in our buying tools. So that's definitely true. I think there's a lot of anxiety about programmatic buying and what it's going to do to the industry, but the fact is the numbers show that the digital ad buying is just too hard and too expensive. We have to find ways to make it simpler, and RTB is one of those ways. In inventory registration in a standardized format that's the same. Like if you don't want to work with Rubicon, you can use the same system to register it with somebody else. It helps Rubicon, and it helps other people. It helps the whole industry grow. It helps agencies buy more efficiently with lower overhead.
Sorry, I'm listening to you. I'm looking to make sure to find out if we have any questions yet from the audience. Anybody? Okay, so give me a sense. I have a technical background in history. Not as much understanding of the buy side sort of motivations in the market. So give me a sense technically what's different about what happens today in terms of just using a DSP and going through an exchange versus making use of RTB or what OpenRTB is going to produce.
Sure. So historically, when you bought media, it was done over the telephone. Most of the time, if any of you have ever been out there, you've actually gone on the phone and sold your site or bought somebody else's site simply because of a phone call and simply because somebody on the other end, the brand advertiser, says, I want to buy this audience that I believe goes to this site. So you took a bet. As exchanges came into play, they started offering characteristics about the impression that you could make a decision in more of a real time. It's not, you're not just saying a bulk buy of this because I'm going to make the bet that 60% of the people that go to ESPN, for example, are male. You're looking at every impression. Now that, when it was done initially, that was extremely complex because you were buying through somebody else's exchange, on their exchange, through their servers, with all of their algorithms. We've all probably bought on Right Media before. So you have no control to a degree over the things that you buy and you don't buy, with the exception of basically picking stuff. So with RTB came the opportunity for the first time ever to take a look at an impression at its most granular level and every single aspect of that impression that you can computationally care about, right? And then make a decision, is this single impression worth it for me, and at what price? So it changed the landscape from the very generic buy with a very big audience target to a much more fine-grained type of a buy, which has really never existed until about 2.5 years ago.